and welcome to TAMAPTA. I'm Lawrence Rogers. On today's program, we go approximately 40 miles from Aklavik in Canada's Northwest Territories, where 6 teenagers learn the fine art of trapping from 2 elders that have been doing this type of activity for a number of years. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy the program. Early last winter, after the trapping season for the long fur-bearing animals had opened, Danny and Annie C. Gordon and 6 teenagers from the Moose Ker School in Aklavik got ready for a trip that would take them to Danny and Annie's camp in the Mackenzie Delta. The camp is approximately 40 miles by rivers, lakes, and some portages, and is located on the Leland Channel. People that made semi-permanent houses in the Delta often had to look for ideal locations, such as high ground, so as not to be flooded out when the spring thaw brought the water levels quite high. They also thought of good places for fishing and trapping. Danny has been trapping in the Mackenzie Delta for more than 40 years with the conventional lake hole traps, and just recently started trapping with the more humane Coney bear trap, which are designed to kill on impact. But like anything else, there are pros and cons, such as the trap gets frozen onto the fur of the animal, and extra traps had to be carried so as to substitute them when an animal or a bird is caught. Danny knows there are certain risks involved when learning a new way of trapping, so he demonstrates the safe handling techniques of the new trap designed to the teens that are out there to learn the fine art of catching fur-bearing animals.
What you do is get this all set up. This tongue has to be in here, and this has to be sitting this way, and you kind of straighten these out. And you grab it. Okay. You grab it and you hold it. And then you put your safety grip on. Make sure these are up here on lock. If these somehow come out, then you're gonna have a problem with the spring. And then after you get that done, you take this off. And then you can give me that box. This is a ready-made box for setting traps, and all you do is you set it in here as far as you like. Are you going to see when you this box is kind of made this way? If you take a look, you see in here that tongue is too close to the top, so what you do is when you after you set it, you bring it down, and that locks it in place. It doesn't move anymore. And that tongue is, if it's not going to hit it, not going to interfere. It's far enough away from the roof. Now, if I would have did it this way, I could have problems. You know, that tongue is too close to the back, so you set it that way. And actually, it's ready to go, and you give me a piece of stick. I can spring it out for you and see the amount of spring you're going to get out of this is quite a bit. You hit those 2 wires and it slaps. And that's it. That's the way you set it. Now somebody else.
TAMAPTA, all our people, will return with more of learning to trap. Welcome back with more of Learning to Trap. After the demonstration, Danny gives the teenagers an opportunity on the traps they will set for the mink that roam around the many creeks, lakes, and rivers that make the Mackenzie Delta.
There you go. Okay, that's done. If you're not comfortable with what we're doing, this thing will not go off on its own like this. This makes it a little bit easier. So these can slip off, and if that happens, then the risk improves quite a bit. And what you do with this, that's your trigger. So you could kind of straighten it up, make sure it's straight with that, and then kind of adjust it to your liking. Could be wider. You can bend these around, or you can make them narrow. This is what hits, and that's what triggers us off. And that's same as a lake hole trap when you step on the spoon, and it starts it up. So I don't know how comfortable you might be to try and set this for me. Maybe you're not comfortable with it, but I can keep doing this for you. Now I must keep an eye on these that they stay locked. Those stay locked, and I must somehow get a hold of this safety grip and put it on. Once this is on, even if this is off, that'll hold it from snapping, and then that way those are on. Release your hand, and it's set. All you do is keep your hand away, and it just comes down. Now it's set, ready.
Now that they have basic knowledge of how to handle the traps, the next order of business is where to set them, so their chances of catching something is far greater.
Usually I got
No.
but just to get these set before you just
From many years of trapping in this area, Danny knows exactly where the larger member of the weasel family likes to travel by. This is where he sets an actual trap.
there so the bait is good, and you take these safety grips off, and then this goes off. This one could go off both ways, I think. They all just set it with this one facing up. That's what we do. And you bring it in, and you kind of lift this up so it'll get solid. It doesn't move around anymore. It doesn't move when it goes into it.
Setting the traps is actually the easy part of this trip. Skinning the day's catch is another story in itself. Annie shows the teens the right way to separate the skin from the carcass. The skin is a part of the animal that brings in the money for the trapper. so great care is taken when doing this particular task.
If you damage this, if you damage it, make holes, then you can fix it. If you got, markings on it. Now make real good soup. Okay, we're done with that. You still have to split the tail. Yep, that goes straight.
TAMAPTA will be right back. We're back with more of the trapping program.
Stretching is also part of the trapper's itinerary. With a flashing pole made earlier that day, Danny shows how it's done, and the teenagers actively take part in doing this everyday task of someone that makes a living off the bounty of this land.
Taking a look here, and you just hit downwards with this, and it just takes the meat off. Look at that. Works pretty good. And that's the way we're supposed to clean our fur. Mink, anyhow. That's what's happening. side.
I give you chocolate.
Then we'll stretch it. Right? So you don't want to put too much force on it?
So just put that cardboard and just the one up
Yeah.
there.
And then you fold these. I haven't got nothing in my movie. A little bit.
Chores such as hauling water from the river and cutting firewood are all done before heading out for more trapping experience.
Whoa!
The lake hole design can still be used to catch animals such as colored foxes, lynx, and the muskrats in the spring. With many years of experience behind him using this type of holding device, it makes it easier for him to pass this knowledge on to the youth on the safe handling
done to
with
the trap.
specifications.
Trap there.
Danny and the 6th youth go from the river to one of his many portages along the trap line, where for many years he's been setting trail sets for the lynx. After carefully listening and watching how it's done from his elder, one of the youth sets the trap for the elusive big cat of the north.
When you come out, you might try to want to go through the opening so you're on a block there. Like this, person. Just put that right there.
One more.
I think you get too big of a step in there, it would miss the trap. But you need to put extra access too, so make it difficult for him to step. He has to step into that first opening. Let's pull it out a little, just grab it and push it. Break it. Go ahead, go ahead.
With the
Watch
knowledge
your
gained
hand.
from watching Danny
There
set
you
a
go.
fox trap,
Okay, good enough.
the
Let's go
youth
and
can
set it.
begin to set one on their own.
I'll take
Listening
some-
to how it's
I'll
done
carry
is not
this heavy
enough.
piece.
Doing the practical part is the only way they will learn how to set the trap properly. There are two types of sets for the lynx. This one is called the house set.
I'm gonna hang it up, yeah. Tight it so it doesn't fall off. How are we doing? Good.
Good.
Okay.
Just try to set it.
All right, let's put that anchor on. Okay. Put it down there where you want to set that. Trap. It just got rusted because I left it out here.
Tie this up.
No, we're gonna tie that after. We don't have enough stitches in here for that. Not bad, eh? And to help him a little bit, here's the rest of my I'm not done yet. So who wants to finish the front? Anybody?
With the help from the youth, Danny completes the house set
Just kind of
designed to
over
catch
here.
the lynx.
We have to step into this area and we have to go and have lunch. But I think that's about the way. Yeah. I think he'll be satisfied. You think so?
The day before they were to go back to the community, Danny and the 6 teens break trail to where he knows of a good stand of dry trees. These will be cut down for firewood for the long cold days that are to come later this winter. Logs are cut so the wood will fit in a stove, and then they are split for easier burning and are stacked in front of the house.
Did you enjoy the show? I certainly did. I really had a good time making this program. But this could very well be a forgotten way of living in the very near future, unless things that pertain to trapping change for the better. Thanks again for being with us. Good day.
With the knowledge that the youth have gained on this trip, our hope is that the fine art of trapping will not be forgotten too soon.